Hi, hello, good morning, my officers. Welcome to this YouTube channel called as Unacademy YouTube channel. So this is Nisha Nujumudeen, your educated Unacademy, an expert in Indian economy, current affairs, and MCQs. So here in this regular series called as Current Topics in News for UPSC Prelims 2022, we have another interesting topic which is based on the index called as HDI. So you'll be thinking that HDI is something that is Human Development Index is something that all of us know. But here, a little of different notion towards this very same topic that is HDI will be discussed in this particular class, wherein a new index which is developed from the so-called HDI called as PHDI. What is that? Planetary Human Development Index. So now the keyword planetary signifies something that has to do with your planet, which means your earth, which means your environment. Am I right? So something pertaining to the keyword called as environment is going to be linked with the so-called index, that is Human Development Index. That is why we call it as a planetary HDI. So normally when we talk about the Human Development Index, what do we see? We see regarding the economic factors, the social factors, more of weightage is being given to education, health, and several other factors like that. But then we really forget to involve the environmental factors also. Now, Planetary Human Development Index, don't get confused with the alternative to GDP, that is GPI, Genuine Progress Indicator, where they say along with economic and social indicators, let us take into consideration the environmental factors for calculating a country's growth and development. No, that's not the case. Here, planetary human development index is totally a different thing. The factor called environment is coming and how far it is contributing to the HDI called as PHDI of a country. So should we shift from HDI to PHDI is a question over here. So do you think planetary human development index is it a novel approach with regard to a country India's progress? So today's question is it a novel approach to what guys our country India's progress? Taking into consideration the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the environmental disturbance, and so many other factors. Kabhi it's very important that we think something out of the box or let's say something different. Don't you think so? Yes or no? Yes, indeed. You got to really think like that because that is a time which will add, more of valid points to what we are talking, right? Yes, indeed. I hope everybody got the notification. Yes, Deva, Soham, good morning. Yes, Poval, good morning to you. So happy to see you for the morning class. Yeah, you kept up your word. Brilliant, brilliant. So to every others who have missed the classes, just inform them as well. Due to few technical issues, we have a little late. But anyways, this is an early morning 6 a.m. live class, guys. So when the clock strikes 6 a.m., come for the current topics in news in the YouTube channel. And also, when the clock strikes 6 p.m., come for the free special live class in the Unacademy app, where we'll be discussing the UPSC level MCQs for Prelims 2022 with a 360-degree coverage. So now, yesterday, Monday, we never had a class. Do not worry. Sunday and Monday, there was no 6 p.m. class. So the learners who got worried whether the class was there and whether you never couldn't attend, do not worry, it was not there. But today you will have it. So today and tomorrow being Wednesday, that is Republic Day, you will have a carnival of MCQs and marathon. In the YouTube class morning, the regular 6 a.m. class, it will be a special series. Normally we take it for 1 hour, right? So now tomorrow's 1 hour class will extend up to 2 hours or so because it's a special Republic Day series followed by an extra YouTube session. Clear? So there'll be two YouTube sessions morning itself, like probably 6 to 8, and then you may have it from 9 to 10, totally 3 hours, but two different sessions. Okay. And then from 11 a.m. onwards, 11 to 12, 12:30 to 1:30, then 2 to 3, 3:30 to 4:30, you will have the MCQs. That is the Carnival series on MCQs in the free special live class platform. You got to download the app. Can you see the link that is pinned up in the chat box? That is the link which will take you to my profile where you can see all the upcoming special classes. Use the code NISHA Live to watch those sessions for free. So this is the schedule of me guys for tomorrow. Is it very clear all of you? Yes, SK, Chirag, Kuldeep, good morning to all of you as well. Because early morning classes always have a lot of josh and energy, guys. There is no doubt in that. Don't you think so? Yes, always it is like that. The josh, the energy, that can never be taken off by anything. Let me tell you that. So, anyways, apart from that, you can just go through my profile as well. So, these are the schedules, guys, for tomorrow, being Republic Day. Clear? Perfect. So now, having understood the topic of discussion, towards the end of the class, you're going to tell me whether Planetary Human Development Index is it a novel approach or not a novel approach for our country India's progress. Keep in mind GDP, keep in mind HDI. And under HDI, we're bringing PHDI, Planetary Human Development Index. So this is a new thing which you need to understand. Yes, Vicky, good morning. So due to which we are going to study this. Is it clear, all of you? And tomorrow, the 6 a.m. topic is very interesting. It is something to talk about the democracy because it's Republic Day and something in the context of governance we're going to study. Very, very vital it will be. So don't miss tomorrow's class. The 6 a.m. as well as the 9 a.m. class. 2 YouTube classes you'll have tomorrow. Okay? Perfect. So before starting the class, guys, a quick reminder, you can follow me via Telegram. That is, yes, so what is it? Is there any problem with your speaker or it is from my end? What is the issue? Is there any problem with the, voice? Is everything fine? The others? Just check out. That could be a network issue from your end. What about PK, Deva, Kuldeep? My voice is not clear. Hold on, let me check what could be the issue. Wait. That is properly connected. Is it fine now? Is it okay, guys? Fine? Perfect. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. And sometimes, kabhi network issues can happen here. So that could be the case. So anyway, this is my Telegram. And when you come for the 6 p.m. class, the link will be pinned up so you will not miss any notifications. So before starting the class by our officers, it's very, very important to start your day or to start your entire week with an amazing motivational quote of the day. Don't you think so? Because this is your Tuesday morning reminder that you can handle whatever this week throws at you. So here is the quote, the morning quote of the day for my officers to keep up your spirit and motivation for the entire day and the week. Working for success will make you a master, but working for satisfaction will make you a legend. So that's a very warm good morning to all of you out here. So I want all of you to work not just for your success, but then for your satisfaction. Let me tell you that. The more you work for your satisfaction, believe me, from a master you become a legend, and that time you become unbreakable. Nothing can stop you from attaining what you want. So now working for satisfaction is nothing but you're working for your own self and for your country to become an IAS officer. You're preparing now. This is the process of preparation. So don't you think so? It is actually making you a legend? Yes, because you are going to contribute to the growth and development of our country, India, in some or the other way by becoming the efficient and young bureaucrats of our country. So this is the whole notion. Yes, perfect. So yes, Deva, still the voice is having issue. I think it is fine. Maybe sometimes network issue could be there, but I think others are fine with the voice. I don't know why today. Anyways, so here we go, guys, for the Plus platform. There are a lot of offers going on. Tomorrow being Wednesday, we have the new badges which has been launched, and also, the lesson 7 from Dhoni, the so-called cricketer of all time. His lessons are also coming up. So you can even watch that using the code Nisha IAS Live. So don't miss it, guys, to be a part of all these quality batches and also to be a part of the Unacademy Plus platform, the paid platform. Lot of courses will come in. So the code is Nisha IAS Live. You can even go for the loan as well, which will enable you, to get the plus subscription. Is it very clear and to avail the quality classes? So yes, without wasting much of time, let's quickly have a look into what is the topic of the day. Because all these topics which you can see in the slide has been covered since Jan 10. So now, here we have another interesting topic that is none other than Planetary Human Development Index. Is it a novel approach to our country India's progress? Are you all ready? And is the voice fine now? Just check. All of you who is live in the class, just check from your end if the voice is fine. And for those, if it is like only for one or two person, it could be network issue. But if it's for the entire people, then it could be some other issue. Just let me know quickly, all of you. Fine, right? Perfect. So here we go. From the area governance, people will think that HDI is from, the economy perspective. Of course, Human Development Index is a subject from the economy perspective. But then, this is in the context of human development in synchronization with planetary pressures. Because we know that these days, for sustainable development or long-term development, it is not only your economic factors like GDP or your social indicators like your health and development and income perspective. No, we need to have a lot of focus to the environment also. So how can you synchronize or how can you kind of, make the human development in comparison with the planetary pressures? That is why, guys, if you see the 2020 Human Development Report of the UNDP, who is that? United Nations Development Program, that was titled as the Next Frontier, Human Development and the Anthroponic proposed a index called as PHDI, that is Planetary Pressure Adjusted Human Development Index. So this is the sole reason why you are studying this particular topic, my officers, due to the announcement of the report of HDI for the year 2020. Clear? And we know that Human Development Index is basically used to rank the countries based on the achievements in three different parameters: life expectancy, that is longevity or the health perspective, then literacy rate or that is the education perspective, and the living standard, which is calculated in per capita income and purchasing power parity perspective. So now health, education, living standard, that is income. These three parameters are only taken into consideration when you want to calculate the HDI of a country, and all these three comes under the social indicator perspective, right? Because yeah, it is not just the quantity, but the quality of development. The qualitative development is brought into forefront. That is what the HDI is all about. But in spite of that, if you see a country, India, we were in a very, very low HDI category. The HDI index was quite low for us. But after 1990s, slowly it changed. And today I can tell you we are not that bad. But doesn't mean that we have a very, very high HDI or a high HDI. Rather, we are in the medium category. We are ranked in the medium HDI category of countries, guys, because the rank is 131 today. From 128, it became 131, then 131 to 127, and currently instead of decreasing, it is becoming it's increasing. So it is 131, guys, the rank of a country, India, out of the 187 countries. Clear? Now, having kept that, it's very, very important to understand that some new important concepts are to be synchronized or brought under the so-called Human Development Index to even modify them to the fullest or to the best, taking into consideration the economic conditions, the social conditions, and the environmental conditions. Because we got to go with the flow. Don't you think so? That is how the 2020 HDI report, that is the HDR, or the UNDP proposed such kind of planetary pressure adjusted human development index. That is why I said planetary human development index. Is it a novel approach for a country India's progress or not? We are going to incorporate so many things here. That is the thing. Clear? Yes, Rishabh, good morning and firstly, congratulations for the award. Wishing more and more in future. Thank you so much, Rishabh, and also the others. I posted in my Telegram as well. Thank you so much. So I was bestowed with the International Education Awards as the International Sensation of the Year. So Sensation of the Year under the category for education contributions for teaching especially, and for the other entrepreneurship and activities I do. But basically for the teaching and other perspectives. So thank you so much, my learners. Because hadn't you guys not believed in me and helped me in the revolution of spreading free education across the country, India, all these kind of laurels and awards would not have been possible. So the support is also required. And thank you so much to all of you for really believing in me once again. Anyways, yes, Deva, voice not clear, ma'am. 50% okay, 50% not okay. Yes, Tejash Manish, good morning. Pata nahi kya hai wo hai? Let me check. What is the issue? It should be fine. Hold on. Hold on. Is it fine now? I hope it should be fine now. I don't see anything. where the voice can break, because network connection is perfectly fine. I don't find nothing with that as well. All okay? I hope it is not breaking. This is a very, very important topic. I don't want my voice to break. Perfect. No, I don't know, because yesterday I was live, okay, at 6 a.m. The class is going on, but I never knew the students are not over there. So I was wondering what is happening. Then I came to know, chalo, there was an issue with the stream key. Oh, pata nahi kya hai. In the morning, what do you say? That so-called Josh of taking the class, I didn't even know. And today this is the issue. Pata nahi kya hai wo hai. Let me check what is that. Yes, Rishab's still breaking. I even disconnected my internet. It could be an internet issue, probably, I think. Okay, let me kind of connect things. Yes, PK. Sometimes network can also give you trouble like this. Pata nahi kya hai wo hai. But we are not going to give up here. We'll still continue the 6 a.m. class, because I don't want to leave you like that. Yesterday I left you all. Today, don't even think in your dreams I will leave you all. Is it fine? I have connected. Yes, Rishabh, I think it has to do with your microphone. No. It is not microphone. Let me check the internet. Wait. It is super fast. See? So I don't think there should be any issue with the internet. Now it is fine. And microphone, can you see, guys? All the tech people. The speaker, it's fine only. I changed to 5G. We have two things now, 4G and 5G in the internet. I changed to that. Let's see how it works. If at all any issues in between come, just let me know. So accordingly, I'll just change the network thing. From morning, it is causing issues. But just let me know, okay? I don't want you guys to, be without hearing what I'm saying, because that is more important. That's the whole point. Yeah, perfectly fine. That's brilliant. So here we go, my young officers. Let's quickly have a look into more details of this particular topic. Clear? Your planetary HDI, that is Human Development Index. Clear? Now, if you see, as far as this particular planetary HDI is concerned, it talks about human induced environmental change, which means that the environmental changes that what we are seeing today, don't you think so? It has something to do with the human perspective as a whole. Yes, it does. It do have a lot of impact, because whatever changes we are seeing today in the environment, we can never say they are the reasons of natural causes or natural disasters. No, most of them are human-induced changes that we can see in the environment and in the context of development. Whether it is deforestation, whether it is cutting a forest, clearing a forest, or doing whatever activity. Kabhi we forgot to do something in lieu with the environmental perspective. So we got to go for things which are highly eco-friendly as well. That is what today we are the environmentalists, or let's say any other critical thinkers, are telling us. Because the environment, or let's say the country, has become in such a scenario where more than any other factors, environmental factors, for example, greenhouse gas emissions, global warming, the air pollution, and several other factors are causing a lot of trouble for the economic and social indicators of our country, India. Don't you think so? It is highly connected. They are interlinked. For example, there is so much of pollution outside. Let's take the case of this COVID-19 pandemic. The spread of virus is happening. Okay. Now, be it pollution or be it the other perspective, you are unable to go out to the go outside and get exposed to the environment. You have to go to your job, go for a job which requires exposure. You got to go to your school or college. Literally, you need to get exposure. So now all these things are getting a setback. The quality of education has been deteriorated. The work efficiency, even if you go there in spite of this so-called condition of environment, instead of 100%, your efficiency becomes 50%. So now the output or the production gets affected there. So you see how the environment is connected to the economic and social perspective. You got the point. So now it is very, very important for us to have a clear-cut understanding into why this is happening and what we can do to prevent it through such kind of PHDI indexes. So now the human induced environmental change, don't you think so, guys, that can irrevocably destabilize the long-term dynamics of the earth system? Yes. Because at the end of the day, it is causing a huge destruction or let's say it's disrupting the entire life supporting system of the planet Earth. So therefore, one of the most important factor for development, I will not say just development, but rather sustainable development. What is that? It is not just the environmental, or sorry, not just the economic indicators like GDP and the social indicators like, health and education. Rather, we got to take into consideration or we have to incorporate the environmental factors also. So therefore, I can tell you that environment has now been considered as an essential component, not just a component, but rather an essential or a necessary component to be factored in to measure the human development. Don't you think so? Human development is just only about getting better access to education and getting better medical facilities, guys, and getting a better job, which will fetch you income to maintain a living standard. It was like that. But today, the scenario of the entire planet, not just a country, India, the entire globe has turned out in such a way that the issues we face from environment is too much because of the human-induced activities, no doubt in that. So now environment is supposed to be considered as a necessary or essential component to be included in the factors of measuring the human development. Clear? Because it is affecting the human life. Don't you think so? Simple logic. Is it very clear, all of you? Don't you think so? It makes a sense? Because the question of our discussion, the topic of discussion is it a novel approach? The Planetary Human Development Index is a novel approach is the question. You got to give yes or no. Take for a country India's progress. So keep that in mind. And thus, we know in the 2020 HDR of the UNDP, they proposed another index called as Planetary Pressure Adjusted Human Development Index. However, this is not a new thing. Okay, since so many years, we have the so-called, let's say since 10 years, this particular concept is revolving. Because if you see the concept of planetary boundary, okay, or the planetary limitation that was introduced by a group of scientists across the world. And that group was led by a person called as J. Rockström, okay, of the Stockholm Resilience Center in the year 2009. So from there on, this has been there. And now in the very recent 2020 HDR report with regard to our country, India, they said, why don't we go for a planetary HDI, which is something, a new normal? That is how this has been come up. Did you understand? So that's the PHDI. Don't you think so? This index will account for the key planetary pressures and letters, every other stuff. Look at this picture, guys. This is the Earth. We have the sun, but even the Earth itself is covering, its face with mass. That's what we are doing. So it's causing a huge issue. The entire environment has been polluted, been destructed with pollutions, with viruses, with diseases. So we're going to really save our environment for what? For the human development. How does human development happen? Just because you get access to better education and you get better employment and job? No. Where you live, your existence matter. It is not who is the best. It is survival of the fittest, we say. Similarly, are you able to survive with the planet Earth without much of destruction in spite of having access to education, health, and income? So all these are a big question marks to be answered. Don't you think so? Yes. That is why the so-called PHDI is brought in. Clear? So now, when I talk about this PHDI or let's say, this new index of HDI, when you talk about synchronizing human development with planetary pressures, it's very, it's very important very important to understand that this particular topic has a, background as well. So the background understanding of this particular topic will make you more effective in understanding this concept, whether you need them or not. Did you understand? So let's quickly have a look into the background of this so-called topic of discussion. Yes, Devadashni, voice not fine, ma'am. Issue in microphone network is perfect. Abdiya, Liye. What about the others? The voice is still disrupting for you all? Let me check with mine. Hold on. Let me open my phone's stuff. I hope it is fine. Yeah, I can hear it perfectly. I will increase the sound of my phone so I can hear it perfectly. Acha, Deva, just refresh and get back, da. So it should be fine. Yes, Soham picking no issue. Right? What about Rishabh, Tejesh, the others? Kanwar, Ravi, Puval, etc. Yes? Kuldeep, all fine? Perfect. Deva, refresh பண்ணி திருப்பி வாப்பா. Just do that and come back, okay? So now, a quick look into the background of this particular topic. That is with regard to HDI. So a background of, PHDI is not what I said, background of HDI, because we want to synchronize human development with planetary pressures. So it's a revision for you. I know that all of you know regarding HDI very well, but let's quickly have a look into the so-called topic for the background understanding with a 360-degree coverage. So now, ever since the United Nations Development Program, they took up computation or calculation of the HDI, we know that there have been so many adjustments that has been made by them. So now if you see in the year 1990, the Pakistani economist Mehboob Haq and the Indian economist, the Nobel laureate Amartya Sen, they both are the pillars of building up an index called as HDI. See, there were other people also, it's not only these two. There was people like Lord Meghdad Desai of LSE, then V.K.R.V. Rao, all these people were there. But then the pioneers or the pillars in creating a structural framework for the concept called as Human Development Index was given by this Pakistani economist called as Mehboob Haq and the Indian economist and the Nobel laureate Amartya Sen. Okay. So now this was the index which had a load of advantage before. As I told you initially, what was the purpose of HDI? For the three important parameters, they calculate the growth and development of the country, focusing on the social indicator perspective. So after the introduction of this HDI also, they said inequality is a very big issue. In fact, a great issue that is hampering the growth and development of every single nation. So now they introduced another index called as adjustments such as inequality adjusted HDI. That's why you have your inequality index and stuff like that. So every now and then in HDI itself, they kind of do a lot of revisions focusing on different factors. That time inequality is a very big issue. So they brought inequality adjusted HDI. Then they brought gender development index. Under HDI, they said it's very important to have a clear-cut understanding of the gender development and disparities for breaking that and making sure that we are going the right track, because human development comprises of all these factors also. So gender development index, then gender inequality index, and also poverty index. We have something called as human poverty index. Okay, but then in the year 1995, we understood that, or let's say the UNDP, United Nations Development Program, they understood that this is not, going to work in a better manner. Due to which they said poverty is not something that can be measured only in terms of income. Let's say, for example, you have a higher income and another person has a lower income. So doesn't mean that poverty is only measured based on the income or the money that they have. No, ऐसा नहीं है. Having money and no other facilities in the environment or the economy, what sense does it make? Don't you think so? Yes. So now, apart from income, several other factors are also to be considered to tell that a person is in poverty or not. So now they revised the Human Poverty Index in the year 1995 to a new concept called as MPI, that is Multi-Dimensional Poverty Index, where they said that apart from income, so many other factors like education, healthcare, sanitation, hygiene, drinking water facilities, shelter, home, all these things are to be taken into consideration in poverty. Because poverty is something which is multi-dimensional. We can never say it is single dimensional, rather it is multi-dimensional. So that is why these indexes were brought in under what? The HDI. And why? Because they want to flag the issues that warranted the attention of policymakers. And now if you see again, in the 2020 Human Development Report of UNDP, they said, let us have something called as Planetary Pressure Adjusted HDI, called as Planetary Human Development Index. So that is also another important component to be, looked into. How are you going to synchronize the so-called planetary pressures with human development? So this is the background of this particular topic. So already for different perspectives in important key areas, lot of computations and indexes has been brought in. So why not now? Because environment is a very important factor. So don't you think so? Synchronizing human development with the planetary pressure is a novel approach for our country, India. I'm talking about a country, India, being a developing economy. Yes or no? You got to answer me towards the end. That's very important. Okay. Yes, Wolf, so much lagging in voice. Navara, really, I don't know why only for some people it is lagging and some it is fine. Can you all just refresh and get back? Just try that. Because network issue cannot be the case. If network is the issue, then I myself will not be able to take class. It will show circle for me. My matlab, it will show, circling in in the system as a whole. That's not there, right? Voice is okay, Tejash? Is everything fine, guys? I don't know, but I can see Deva and Wilfish saying that there is a sound issue. For some, the issue is there. For some, the issue is not there, if I'm not wrong. Am I right? Huh. Acha, speech variation is happening. So that is a network issue only. So I have changed, you know, this Wi-Fi thing also. Let me see. Now it is showing. Can you see this issue over here? It is showing full. Whereas issue 5 is showing only 3. I mean, the range I'm talking, the network stuff. So I think it should be fine. Let me check my phone. Okay? Yes, Rishabh? And the others? Perfect. So now this is the background of this particular topic. So having understood that human development has already been synchronized with various other important factors, now a new concept of bringing the planetary pressure, taking into consideration the factor called environment, has become a necessary or essential component. Okay. Now, let's quickly have a look into what this concept is all about. Like your inequality adjusted HDI, called as Gender Inequality Index, or your poverty adjusted HDI, today called as multi-dimensional poverty index. You have something called as planetary pressure adjusted HDI, called as PHDI. So now this planetary HDI, guys, what do they do? In simple term, this particular index, okay, it takes into consideration, or let me tell you that they adjust the standard human development index by a country's level of carbon dioxide emissions and also the material footprint, each on a per capita basis. Now, connect this topic to what I told you. In the 2 days before, no, we had a discussion based on the carbon neutrality. You remember? I think last week we had a discussion. By 2070, the target of our country, India, as per the Glasgow Environmental Summit commitment, is to achieve net zero carbon emissions. So now carbon emission is a very, very, very big issue, guys. No doubt in that. So planetary pressure adjusted HDI is nothing but what they'll do is they will start adjusting the standard human development index by inculcating or let's say incorporating the factor called environment. In environment, global warming, greenhouse gas emissions, all these are causing a big, big issue. In that emission, which is the most important emission to be considered, carbon dioxide. So now by adjusting or let's say the standard HDI, when they adjust them with the country's level of carbon dioxide emissions and the carbon footprint or the material footprint on a per capita basis, you will be able to measure something called as planetary adjusted HDI. That is what they'll do is they are checking whether the so-called environmental factors with regard to the emission of carbon or let's say the material footprint is on track. It is not increasing too much, not decreasing too less. It has to go completely. You understand? So a quick check on that and policies to be put forward with that regard more and more only. Such kind of planetary pressure adjusted HDI is brought in. And now, why? Why do you think, guys? What could be the reasons or aims or goals or purpose of such kind of new index, guys? The reason is because the purpose of this planetary HDI is to communicate to the large society, that is the entire globe, not just a country, India, guys, and the risk that is involved in continuing with the existing practice with regard to usage of the global resource and also environmental management. If you keep polluting and if you keep handling the environment in this particular manner, then very soon, fatafat, khatam ho gayi, pura zindagi of the entire world, not just the country India, because environment has no boundary. Let's say, for example, India has been polluting so much. Okay. Now the border of a country where it is having access to China, Pakistan, or any other country. Can you stop the environment or let's say the air from reaching there, the polluted air from reaching there? You cannot, because there is no boundary for the environment. Don't you think so? So it's very important. Same also. If some other country is doing, obviously it's going to affect the country India slowly and steadily. That's the whole point. So now the purpose is nothing but of this so-called index, that is PHDI, is to make sure that we are aware about this and the retarding effect that environmental stress can perpetuate on development. Highly, guys, no doubt in that. If environment is not proper, if itna theek nahi hai na, then what happens? Obviously, development will be a very big question. Don't you think so? Yes, that is the reason why planetary HDI is brought in. So there was no need to go too deep into the topic. So short, sweet, and to the point, man, I thought we'll discuss. That is why I jotted out the very important points of planetary HDI. Did you understand? That is enough. Don't go too much into this topic because they can see pages and pages of articles on this, not required. To the point, what is important? The in-depth effective points are important, the killer points. Okay? Because that will enable you to have a better understanding of keywords and then connect them with the concerned area. And when you study the planetary HDI, always study in connection by comparing the normal human development index as well. Because if you do that, only you'll be able to understand why it is brought in, and also keep the background in mind. Because people may think that human development index is revised to a new index called as PHDI, planetary HDI. No. It is just another index coming under that, like your gender development index, your gender inequality index, then multi-racial poverty index and stuff like that. So another perspective is planetary HDI. Clear? And thus, the so-called planetary HDI, it will bring out the nature of planetary pressure generated by the developed country. You think developed countries are so good that they don't cause any issues? Believe me, they're the number one emitters. If you see US and all, they are the second largest emitter of what? Greenhouse gas emissions. Let me tell you that. So now, the so-called planetary HDI, okay, it is bringing out the planetary pressure generated by all the developed country also, and indirectly indicates their responsibility in combating the situation. They are saying that the developing economies are in a huge stress because the developed economy has been polluting like anything. Because see, for development they have to do, but that doesn't mean that they're not taking care of any measures and stuff like that. They are doing, but still, along with development, that is also increasing. So now that is actually impacting the other developing or the lesser developed countries, especially in the context of India and all. You understand? So now this kind of index is giving a hint to the developed country that having the better resources, having the better financial backup and the development perspective, they are actually responsible for compacting or reducing the situation and making sure that the emissions of carbon or greenhouse gas is reduced so that the developing economies are at a great relief. And also these developed economies, okay, through your Green Climate Fund, GCF, and Green Environmental Facility, okay, they need to provide sufficient funds to all these developing countries. For example, US, being a developed economy, can contribute funds to India being a developing economy in order to combat all these issues. Because lack of financial resource of funding is a very big criteria, guys, to be noted out. Did you understand, all of you? Yes, Powell, 60% done by developed. Obviously, yes, that is a reality. And don't tell that India is that less. India ranks number 3 in the global economy. China, US, and India, guys, for greenhouse gas emissions. So, not say that India is not doing anything. Yeah, we are contributing greater. Let me tell you that. Of course, the developed country is also contributing. That is there, but India is also in between. That is one because of the population pressures and stuffs like that. Because even China is also there in number 1 position. So that is to be understood. Clear? Now, the next important topic of discussion is, do you really think, guys, there is a need for such kind of planetary pressure adjusted HDI? Do you really think? Yes or no? Of course, there is. Point number 1. Because environment is a very important component. Directly and indirectly, today it is affecting the survival of we the human beings and every other flora and fauna or every other species, I can tell you. So now environment is to be considered as an essential or necessary component, and that has to be factored into measure the human development. This was said by Abhijit Banerjee, Nobel Prize winner, and the great economist of all time, one of the great economists. So Mr. Abhijit Banerjee said, come on, this has to be there. So that, you know, people like them in their research papers and articles, they have brought it. And they said, yes, it has to be. So as per the suggestions of an economist, this is something which is to be understood. Yes, Wolfish, what is it? Have a question. Where do we stand according to the World Trade Organization? Upper middle economy or lower middle? Lower middle country now confused. We are not lower middle country. We are a medium country. We are not upper, we are not lower. We are the medium category. There is something called as very high, for example, in the context of human development, I'm telling you, very high human development, medium, very low human development. So we are in the medium category. Okay, neither very high or very low. It is in the proper medium category. Is it clear? Not only for HDI, even for the other perspective as a whole. Is it clear? Perfect. Now, even the economists have suggested that as a part of the policy measures and other perspective, yes, the environment is to be now considered as a component, not just a normal component, but an essential component, guys. Okay, and this is being given by Mr. Abhijit Banerjee, economist, so that is why I have just brought in that name. The next one, the need for planetary HDI, as per the suggestions given by another person. If you see, as I told you, since 2009, the concept of planetary boundary was introduced by a group of scientists. Even they said yes, it is highly important. Okay, and now this is basically to highlight what the human-induced environmental changes, because we all know that if we are not going to take care of any of these things, then automatically in the long-term dynamics of the Earth system, this can irrevocably destabilize the entire planet Earth, I can tell you. So automatically the life supporting system of the planet has been disrupted. So yes, we do need such kind of planetary pressure adjusted HDI. And now, if you take the evidences, both global and local evidences, we can see there has been a huge loss with regard to biodiversity. The flora, the fauna, come on, they have been highly, highly disrupted. Now, climate change, which is a very, very sensitive and a burning issue these days. This has to be addressed. And because of climate change, the entire routine of the country, or let's say the planet, not just the country India, but the entire globe or planet has been affected. Next is with regard to the land system or the land use change. Multiple changes has taken place. Be it for agriculture, be it for industrial use, it has been changed due to which the system of land itself has changed, guys. That is again another evidence. Then the geochemical cycle, they have been highly, highly disrupted. That is again because of the environmental perspective. And now water being a very, very essential resource. Today, if you see the fresh water availability, there's been a huge scarcity into it. Everywhere highly polluted and stuff like that. So now, both global and local evidence is telling us that come on, there is a high need of kind of adjusting the planetary pressures with the Human Development Index, called as Planetary Human Development Index. Don't you think so? Yes. So these are the solid or the valid points supporting this particular argument. At the same time, the purpose of planetary HDI, as I told you, to make the entire community or the crowd know regarding the risk and how we can manage the environment properly. Now let's quickly have a look into the global average of HDI. Why is there a decline in the global average human development index? If you see, when we are going to adjust or when we are going to incorporate the factor called as planetary pressure, that is the environment. Now, the world average of human development index in the year 2019, when the so-called factor was adjusted or taken into consideration, they came down from 0.737 to 0.683. And how was this particular factor, adjusted, guys? How were they taken into consideration? This adjustment has been worked out by factoring or taking into consideration per capita carbon dioxide emissions of productions and per capita metal footprint. That is the time that they understood that there has been a decline in the global average HDI when planetary pressure was adjusted in the year 2019. Can you see that? This is another evidence to show you the difference. 0.73 to 0.683 it became. Clear? And thus the average per capita global carbon dioxide emissions, guys, or the production, how much it is? It is not 1 or 2 per ton, rather 4.6 tons. And the per capita material footprint is again not in single digit, rather in double digit, which is 12.3 tons, which is a huge thing to be considered. So it's high time that we are going to have such kind of PHDI indexes, because planetary pressures have to be adjusted and environment is to be considered as an essential component, no doubt in that. Now, let's quickly have a look into the individual impact on countries when we are adjusting the planetary pressures with the HDI. If you see the global ranking, okay, of so many countries, that was changed and altered, some in a positive way, some in a negative way. When planetary adjusted pressures were, incorporated with the human development index, some countries showed a huge progress. They could actually reduce their HDI rank. I mean, they could show great progress. But in some other country where the issue of pollution, or let's say environmental factor was too much, it had a huge setback because a lot of negative sensitive affected them. Clear? So now let's quickly have a look into that perspective as a whole. If you see in HDI, okay, always the Scandinavian countries, Norway, Switzerland, Denmark, Finland, all these countries only ranking the top number one. Now, if you see out of that, again, one of the Scandinavian country, Switzerland, they were the only country in the group of high HDI countries whose world rank has not even changed, even when they adjusted planetary pressure measures into it. When they were taking environmental consideration for measuring human development, out of the top countries of HDI, who are in the very high category of ranking, Switzerland had no change. The rank of Switzerland remained the same. Whereas if you see the other countries which are in the very high human development category, like Norway, like Finland and Denmark and all, you could see variations. They are number one. They are in the very high category of human development index with a very high scoring and all. But then when planetary pressure adjustment was done into it, when they took into consideration, when they want to measure environmental factors also for human development, that showed a huge variation. Did you understand? So it doesn't mean that only the developing economy or the less developed economy will be affected because of such kind of planetary pressure adjustments in HDI. Even the developed countries, the one in the top ranking of HDI guys, even they can have variation because planetary pressure varies from country to country. You understand? They may have a better medical facility, they may have a better education, but then the environment is not proper. It's not taken here. Then what happens? You understand? Clear? That is one evidence to show you the individual impact on countries when you kind of adjust the human development index with the planetary pressures environment. Clear? Now, if you see among 66 very high human developed countries, so that if you see among that 30 countries, solid half, okay, half the proportion, 30 countries recorded a fall in rank. That's what I told you. No matter you are on the top position of human development index, take into consideration three parameters: health, education, and the income. That is longevity, literacy, and per capita income and purchasing power parity. That is not the criteria. When you bring environment into that and incorporate into that, you can see the variation. Drastically from 5th rank, they became 10th rank. From 10th, they became 15th. I'm talking about the very high human developed countries, guys. So out of 66 of them, 30 countries, you can see a record fall in the rank values. Ranging, can you see that? Ranging from -1 for Germany and Montenegro to -131. Even for Luxembourg, it's something which to be understood. And thus Norway, always the Scandinavian country ranked number one. They are topping the HDI guys continuously, consecutively they rank number one. But today if you see, when we incorporated or when we kind of took planetary pressure into the human development index measures, now this Norway, which topped the HDI, human development index, they fell 15 places. What about US, Canada and all? US 17, Canada 16, they all fell to 45 and 40 places respectively. And China, which was 85, again they dropped 16 places. You see this? You see the kind of variations, you see the kind of stuff. Now, this is making you understand the importance of planetary pressures. So, the kind of data what has been given to you with regard to education, health, and income, fine, well and good. But then, taking into consideration the serious issue of environment as a necessary component, and when you kind of adjust the planetary pressures with the human development index, what is happening? The ranking what is set forward for HDI is showing a ulta turn with regard to different countries, even from the very high human development category countries. Clear? So this is a light, or this is a real reflection of what is really happening into all the measurements of such social indicators like HDI. So it's high time, don't you think so, guys? For our country, India also to adopt it, the PHDI. And do you think it is a novel approach? I mean, the right, novel means right approach for a country India's progress? Yes, it should be. Because even to achieve health and education, we are struggling. And now when we take environment also, what will happen? You know, we never know actually what happens. You understand? Even the rank again can drastically increase, or let's say it can have a huge setback. But still, we have to consider, because we got to improve that also. But now the advantage for a country India is in the CPI, Climate Performance Index, we are doing great. So keeping that in mind and the ranking of that, maybe that can contribute to a better HDI when we are adjusting the planetary pressures with the Human Development Index. So keep that also in mind. Clear? Now it is very important, guys, because we are going to talk about a country, India. Because the question is India's adoption of PHDI novel approach. So now if you see in the case of India, okay, the planetary adjusted HDI, that is 0.626 against a normal HDI of 0.645, and they have an average per capita carbon dioxide emission of production and material footprint of 2 tons and 4.6 tons respectively. We are not that less. We are also kind of in the higher category. Matlab, the kind of emission is not too low for us. More or less we do have. And thus, if you see, look at this very carefully, India gained, okay, in the normal human development index. People will think that in the case of developed country and very high countries, the ranks are falling. For our country, it will be pathetic. But I told you that climate performance index, we are doing a little better compared to other countries. In the context of greenhouse gas emissions, yeah, we are number 3 in emitters in the entire globe after China and US. But then we are also able to attain progress in so many other perspectives of environment, guys. It doesn't mean that we are so bad. We are attaining progress in the environmental perspective. So keeping that in mind, the next amazing topic to be understood. This is starting to be positive for us. Okay. If you see India in the global ranking, okay, we gained by 8 points. That is, under HDI, our rank is 131. What about PHDI? 123rd. And its per capita carbon emissions of productions and also the material footprint, they are well below the global average. So now keep this in mind. What did you understand? Shall we really go for a PHDI? It is high time that we are really going forward with it. It is something to be considered. And thus, how is your PHDI created, guys? Your planetary adjusted HDI is created by multiplying the Human Development Index by an adjustment factor, like your carbon dioxide emissions, your material footprint, and some such like that. And they use the arithmetic mean and the geometric mean. So how do you measure, guys? Actually, HDI is measured currently using the geometric mean measure. That is, HDI is equal to health into education to income. You multiply them into 1 by 3. Arithmetic means you kind of plus health plus education plus income, which is absolutely bullshit stuff, because it is based on the method called as linear averaging, where the assumption called as perfect substitutability is coming. When I taught you HDI theoretical perspective, I told you, right, the perfect substitutability is one's assumption, which made the entire calculation of HDI bullshit till the year 2015. After 2015, that was taken off. Understanding limitations, and new method called as geometric mean method was brought in, where you multiply. That makes a lot of sense. So now in the context of PHDI, they were talking of an arithmetic mean. They will plus these two factors, carbon dioxide emissions and the material footprint, and then they'll include them with the HDI. Clear? That is HDI plus these two carbon dioxide emissions and the footprint, then you get the planetary HDI. That is how practically they calculate. Did you understand? If you see, higher planetary pressures is in the context of 0.00, whereas lower planetary pressures is in the scale of 1. Just for you to know, guys, the practicality. Now, let me quickly take you to another interesting topic, guys, that is India's progress towards planetary pressure. Do you think we are having a huge progress? Yes, it is. So now India's progress towards planetary pressure adjusted human development. Are we really progressing or not progressing is the question here. Some may say we are progressing, some may say no, something has to be considered. Here we go. Point number 1, over exploitation of natural resources. Now, this has been a point ever since those days also, guys, no doubt in that. So now the natural resource used for our country, India, that is far from efficient, and I can tell you that the environmental problems, they are keeping on and on increasing. And the onslaught on nature, they goes on unabated with little concern about its fallout. So all these are evident from what? A number of ongoing and proposed projects. So now, yes, the natural resources are being exploited. I can tell you, overexploited. Yes, wolfish, we are progressing. We are progressing, but we are failing to take into consideration so many perspectives. That is the natural resource. For example, it is not exploited, rather overexploited. That has to be reduced. Now, poverty versus environment conservation dilemma. There's always a big confusion, guys, with regard to the biggest social evil, poverty, and also the environment conservation. If you see, India has 27.9% people under the MPI, Multi-Dimensional Poverty Index. That is ranging from 1.10% in Kerala to 52.50% in Bihar. And Kerala it is less, that is different. Why? Because why I took the case of Kerala is as far as the states of our country India is concerned. Okay, uh, Kerala ranks number 1 in the Human Development Index even today, with the better literacy, educational facilities, and medical facilities and income perspective. Over there, yeah, the poverty range is 1.10 in Kerala, 250, more than majority, guys, 52% Bihar, the worst or the least SDI state, I can tell you. And a sizable section of them directly is being spent, depend on what? The natural resource for all this assistance. So this is to be understood. Clear? You can just see poverty and non-degradation. When you kind of degrade your environment, automatically poverty comes because development doesn't happen for them. See, you look at this lady, a normal village lady, and she, when they're doing deforestations, and when these two people, can you see this picture? These two men, they're cutting off the forest, they're doing deforestation for the development perspective. So she's telling that these illiterates, she is not literate, but those people are literate, they think. Of course, they're literate, but then according to her, she's telling that these illiterates don't realize what they are doing to the environment. Now, this is something which has to be noticed. Don't you think so? This particular cartoonic caricature is making you understand so many things. Am I right? Yes or no? Yes. Because when you degrade your environment, you know what happens? Poverty is automatically accompanied. You may think how? We are doing deforestation. Okay. Now, when you cut one plant, sorry, when you cut one tree, you're supposed to plant 12 saplings. Cutting is happening, but planting is not happening, which means deforestation is happening. What about afforestation? You want to understand? So now, automatically, development is going on. So now the resource or the food perspective, we depend upon the farming, we depend upon the trees, we depend upon all these stuff. What is happening? It has been destroyed. And now when the environmental pollution and other perspectives keep on increasing, no matter what development you have, at the end of the day, it is having a huge turn on your health perspective also. Where too much expenditure goes on that, where too much of issues with regard to health happens. At the end of the day, slowly what happens? It will not permit you to go to work. It will not permit you to, better education facility because health is not proper because of environmental issues. Automatically poverty. So the more you degrade the environment, the more of poverty we are actually falling into. Did you understand? Yes, Ram Kumar. So this is the reality of it. Clear? Perfect. And they and the others, is it very clear? Those who had issues with regard to, what do you say? With regard to the voice, I hope it is fine. Huh? Yes. Yes, guys. I can't see your messages. Yes, there is small problem is there, ma'am. Speech variation. But even I don't know why that happens because no, but that has to be adjusted. You know why I'm asking all this? I don't think it should be a network issue. Is it so? Because sorry, it should be mic issue. Because can you see that all of you the mic stuff here? It's fine only, na? I think it could be network, guys. What do you say? Because mic issue, na, then you cannot hear whatever I say, na. All the tech people of the class. No, ma'am, it's not from your side. No, but you people are belong to different places, not the same place, na. But then it is happening for Deva, then now Wolfish, now Tejesh. Yeah. Acha, so I'm not Mike. Oh my goodness, Mike should not have any issue because we have the 6 p.m. class also, guys. I don't want to play with the mic. That is more important. I don't think mic issue because mic now then voice will not come at all. I think I'm see network is there. I think the variation is happening because in my phone also in the early morning at 4:30, the my Wi is open. I'm looking into this and sitting, but net is loading like this. It was kind of slow. அதனால கூட இருக்கலாம். That's why I checked with the internet also. Let me check. Wait. Yeah, it comes. It comes so fast. I don't know. But don't worry, I will check. Yes, Wolfish is saying change the mic, madam. 2 to 3 heads now. No mic changing. Go away. So smart you are. Change the mic. I'll give you nice. Shallow. Let me finish this. We have so many surprises for tomorrow. I have to discuss more with you people for that as well. And I want the topics also because YouTube morning 6 a.m. Yeah, one topic is based on governance. 9 to 10 p.m. What topic you want, you let me know. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Sorry, because I have to plan accordingly. So tomorrow 3 hours of YouTube you'll have 6 to 8 and then 9 to 10. And then from 11 the MCQs in the free platform. Okay. Otherwise, I'll make it from 12 o'clock also. It doesn't matter. Whichever case you want. Clear? Okay, back to the topic of discussion with regard to the poverty and environmental perspective. Now, don't you think so? These are highly connected? Yes, and this caricature is actually telling you the same as well, right? Now, Paul has asked a question. What was it, Paul? I can see it now only. What is the rank of Tamil Nadu? Tamil Nadu, they rank number 11, if I'm not wrong. You can just check it. Yeah, as for the 2019 perspective of the states, yeah, it is number 11 with 0.709 HDI. Kerala number 1. Then that time the HDI Kerala was number 1. And Tamil Nadu, yeah, it is number 11. I'm talking about the high human development. Okay. The high human development status Kerala, Chandigarh, Goa, Lakshadweep, UT, Delhi, UT Andaman, UT Puducherry, then Himachal, Punjab, and Sikkim, and then only Tamil Nadu. But Tamil Nadu, then Haryana, Mizoram, all these are in the high HDI category. Whereas the medium human development states for our country, India, was Maharashtra, Manipur, then Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Gujarat, Telangana, and stuffs like that, Andhra, Meghalaya, Tripura, and all. And the very, very low is with regard to, even West Bengal is a medium, okay, let me tell you that. Whereas the very low is, Bihar and all, very low just. Bihar, UP, Jharkhand, Odisha, Assam also, no, Assam is better, I think. But Jharkhand, UP, and Bihar is very worse. Clear? Now, the next important point with regard to the need for planetary adjusted measure of HDI. Now, I told you the twin challenge of poverty alleviation, that is reducing poverty and also environmental safeguarding. That even our former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, even she first articulated in her lecture during the Stockholm Conference on the Human Environment in the year 1972. That still remains unattended. Don't you think so, guys? Why I brought this particular point is when I was reading the few articles on the same topic, this captured my attention where I felt that, see, when you talk about elevating poverty, when you talk about safeguarding environment, both these have to be taken into consideration. Don't you think so? Even the PM Indira Gandhi, even she has said in one of the speeches, guys. That is why I brought this point, just to make you understand that this is not a new thing. Since 1972 this has been said, and that too by an Iron Lady as well when she was a PM, and that still remains unattended. Very, very pathetic reality to be understood. So this is something that we need to really catch for, right? So when you teach about an index or stuff, it is not like what the index is all about, what is the rank, or let's say what is the purpose. It doesn't end with that. When you have a lot of such kind of topic, especially for the mains examinations and for your prelims and examination perspective, and also mainly for the interview and for your knowledge to increase, this is the way you got to analyze. Yes, well, sure. This is the way you got to analyze. Did you understand? Because this will make you understand the depth of the problem in a much better manner when you do a research on the topics, guys. But to the point, what is important doesn't mean you have to go for the entire as I tell you like 20, 30 points. No, 5 solid killer points. But then in that, the depth of the points have to be understood to make you know, because this particular point, you see, this particular point is actually making you think about this is not a new thing. A lot of you would have thought that okay, this is a new concept and we have to adjust it, environmental perspective and all. But it is connected with another twin challenge of elevating, eradicating poverty and also safeguarding environment. Both together, both things should go hand in hand. And that has already been said also way back in the year 72 in the Stockholm conference by India's PM Indira Gandhi when she was a PM. But till today, what is the end result? It is unattended, very pathetic. Or even if it is attended, that is not up to mark. Now, your SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Do you think we are doing great with regard to such kind of human development and the environmental perspective? No, there's a poor achievement. As per the Niti Aayog, the independent think tank of Government of India, 2020 and 21 report, if you see out of 100 points set for the grade of achiever, what is the score of a country? India, we scored only 60, which means we're not an achiever or anything, we're just a performer. And for no poverty, we got only 47 as an aspirant. Clear? That is for no poverty, we got a performer, that is 60. For zero hunger, we were only 47, which means we are an aspirant category. And there were so many state level variations also, a wide state variations, guys. Which is again putting a country in a huge trouble. So at the whole, I can tell you that SDG achievement is not up to mark. Yes, Wolfish, even 1972, she was so confident about the environmental issues arising today. Yes, she was very confident. That particular iron lady, believe me, she was so confident. And she said, the Madam Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, she was very confident that time, and she said, and that is why I use that point. See, the reason why I use the point is this will make your session more debatable, more controversial. Even that time, she can tell why the hell it is not happening now. So for so many years it has been brought in. What is the government doing? What are the other experts doing? Do you think it's a new concept? No. It has been there and the leaders since then they are telling and they're trying to do it. But till today it remains unattended. So this is something to be really brought out. So that is the sole reason why I brought this point in the slide. Because you got to take it in a controversial level, guys, wherein you'll start thinking, you'll start provoking you. Come on, this has happened, that and this has been told since then, and why this is not happening? In spite of multiple opportunities to grow, multiple perspectives over there, why this has not been taken into consideration? You got the point. That is it. You can just see, guys, the Sustainable Development Report for our country, India. Out of 165, the SDG index rank is 120. Then you have SDG India index, which is put forward with Niti Aayog. You can just go through all those topics. The SDG, then SDG India index. All these are important hit list topics for the prelims examination perspective. In the 6 p.m. class, when you come, you'll get it. Yes, Shiva, sound problem. Oh, I know that. It's for a long time. People were saying it could be some network issues, my dear, but not more than that. But please refresh and get back. And I'll also check with the team because the sound issue is only today now, guys. Only today it was a thing, right? When you come for the 6 p.m. class now, just let me know regarding the sound issue. I think anyway, Pooval, Shiva, all you people will come for the 6 p.m. class, Tejas and all. Just let me know, Soham and all, there's the 6 p.m. class when you come. The same sound issue what you face in the morning is there. Just let me know that because then we'll understand if it is network issue or some sound issue. Mic issue means whatever I do in the with this laptop, if it is a mic issue, then this will happen. But then if it is a network issue, then probably by evening we'll be able to understand. I don't think it will be there since that time. Anyways. Yes, Wolfish, let's change the government. It's time. Let's vote for some cartoons now. At least we'll never gonna disappoint. I'll choose Tom or Jerry, which is a favorite cartoon. Oh my goodness, don't tell me like that. See, it's not changing government or voting for another person. Whoever is coming into place, X, Y, Z. A party is something, or let's say a kind of party, or let's say a ruling party or an opposition party or whatever. the agenda of every single person. It shouldn't be only one person. It shouldn't be the concerned PM or the opposition party leader. Not only them, every other people who are involved, including we, the citizens of our country, India, should have the same notion, and we should work in so much of unity without diverting and disrupting. Then it can have a great impact or a huge change. Let me tell you that. Apart from that, I don't think it is going to make any change as such. That's the thing. This is a reality, guys, the harsh reality which you really need to understand and start thinking out of the box. To say good, sweet words, oh, it's not like that, this government is good, that government is good. No, whichever government. It's not one man show, it's not a single man or woman show. Every single person out there has to be incorporated. And we, the citizens, what are we supposed to do? The same thing. Unless and until that unity comes over there and the change in attitude comes over there, it cannot work. Let's strive for that. Let's strive hard for that and make sure this is happening. You understand? Thus, if you see in the context of India's core and the sustainable development goals, guys, of 8, 9, and 12, decent work and economic growth, I can tell you. If you see industry, innovation, infrastructure, and responsible consumption production, respectively, all these are considered for working out what the planetary pressure. In that, we are 61, we are a performer, then we are a forerunner also, guys, in the context of consumption productions and all. Which means, yeah, we are more or less in a progressive stage because when you want to take into consideration the planetary pressures, these are the factors to be considered. In that, we are doing great, like a performer and front runner. So very soon we can be an achiever also. So it is good that we're going to incorporate or we're going to adjust the planetary pressures HDR because that is a novel approach for a country India's progress in the coming days. Because that is what these points are also telling us, right? Because if we don't take it into consideration, seriously, whatever development we are going to have, it is not going to be complete. That is the whole notion of this particular topic. Now, with regard to environment, you all know about hugging the tree kind movement, right? By the great environmentalists from those times. The Chipko movement, the Apico movement. You remember? So now, if you see in Uttarakhand in the year 1973, the Chipko movement, and in Silent Valley in the late 1970s in Kerala, a lot of movements like this took place to protect the trees, forests, and all from deforestation and other perspective. So these are the two most well-known modern-day people movements. Subsequently, there is a lot of widespread awareness about environment and civil initiative, both at the level of government and the community. So now such kind of things are also important, guys, because the more you understand the environment, the more it is beneficial for your growth because it is highly inclined towards the economic and social indicator development as a whole. Clear? And thus, I can tell you that social and environmental problem, they cannot be addressed in isolation anymore, because you cannot deal social problems individually and environmental problems individually. No. You got to have a combination or a synchronization or an integrated perspective of both social and environmental problems. As I told you in the beginning of the class, environment is not proper. You want to go to school. That is not happening. So you may say online education is there. Okay. But that is again disrupting the quality of education. Or you want to go for work, even if you're going there, 100% efficiency. In spite of that, it becomes 70% because the moment you reach there, because of all the environmental problems and other issues, you are subject to pollutions and stuff. Your body becomes weak. You need some rest. So now the health expenditure is also increasing for you, where the money that you get is going, half the amount is going for that as well. So now addressing the social and the environmental problems, it has to be in an integrated approach these days. It cannot be done individually. Don't you think so? And this can be conceived and addressed at the local level, for which India has constitutional provisions in the form of 73rd and 74th amendments as per the constitution of our country. So now we even have that also. So why not? Why not? It's time, high time that I feel we got to go for synchronization or integration of addressing both the social and the environmental problems hand in hand. And the social concept of education, health, then factors like poverty, elevation, and stuff like that. And combine them with the environmental problems of greenhouse gas emissions, carbon dioxide emissions, and stuff like that. Clear? Now, the twin challenge, poverty elevation and environmental safeguarding. That is what we are facing even today. That is, when you talk about poverty elevation, you need to have development. You need to cut down the trees. You need to have the buildings for better employment opportunities, for better development and all, and better living standard. But who will take care of the environment, guys? So now you do all those, but make sure that it is not at the cost of environment. If you do cut a tree, go for planting 12 saplings, or go for constructions, or go for developments which is eco-friendly as well. So we are not actually destroying or disturbing the environment in the context of development, because we say that it's managing or reducing poverty. So this twin challenge has to be addressed in a very, very diplomatic way. And thus, India's national resource use is very far from efficient environmental problem, no doubt in that. So we need to make sure that we are actually addressing that and that is not going unnoticed. Clear? You can just have a look into the performance of a country, India's on SDG, guys. See, the Sustainable Development Goal, they've acquired high priority in the context of the issue of climate change and what is the impact it is having on the environment. As per the 6th assessment report, AR6 of IPCC, Interpanel Governmental Panel on Convection on Climate Change, 2021. What did they say? They said that the stress on limiting global temperature rise at not more than 1.5 degrees Celsius as per the target, that is to be maintained, because that is actually a huge threat to the climate change, guys. That is, you can see, as per the 6th assessment report of IPCC 2021, they laid stress on limiting global temperature rise at the 1.5 degrees Celsius level and strengthening the global response to the threat of climate change. Development and efforts has to be taken. Only then you can eradicate, eliminate what poverty. This is something to be understood. Clear? Because that is affecting the performance of a country, India SDG, where we are having a very poor ranking. You understand that is also contributing to the poor ranking of a country in this context. Clear? Yes, Wolfish? I truly don't understand what we are doing with the environment, even if the solution has its roots in 23rd and 24th Amendment. That is true. That's what I told you. You see, I showed you the point here. We do have it in all the 73rd and 74th Amendments of our Indian Constitution, but still, what are we doing with the environment? What are you and me doing? That is something to be understood now. What are we doing? We even when we have some chocolates or we have some chips or biscuit or whatever, we tend to throw it if we are outside. You don't go in search of a dustbin. You throw it like that, simply like that. You do it. See, from our home or from our own self, a small thing that we do, we may think it's not going to cause a big issue, but then from there it starts. You understand? So now all of us are equally responsible. We can just not say the government. Each one of us, being a responsible citizen for our country, we are quite responsible. Clear? And now to talk about the performance of a country, India on SDG, I can tell you that no poverty and zero hunger. They are the first and the second SDGs, and we are not been able to achieve so great, but at least to some extent. If you see, India scored 60 performer grade for no poverty and 47 for zero hunger. We're just in the aspiring level, but still a lot more has to be done. Clear? So now what you can do is the next question, guys. If you see, in such kind of issues, what we can do is we can intertwine environmental and social development. That is very simple. We need to understand that the human development, take care, which consists of economic and social indicators, we are going to incorporate them into the environmental perspective or the ecosystem as well. So then you'll be able to build a biosphere or systematic approach to nature-based solutions that put people at the core. So this is something that you can do. Intertwining or in a kind of synchronizing the social development along with environmental development. Both should go hand in hand. So there is no sort of destruction that is happening. At the end of the day, the end result, called as development and sustainable development, is taking place. Clear? Then next is local level involvement, which means community participations and the grassroots level involvement. So now it is very, very important now that we are going to consider people and the planet as being a part of an interconnected social ecological system. What I told you, you and me as a citizen, we are responsible. We just can never blame only the government or the authorities over there. Every one of us, because it's environment. Understand, this is not just in the hands of one people. You got the point. So now this should be taken into consideration. Clear? So integration of both the social and the environmental problems have to go hand in hand. Did you understand? Thus, a collaborative effort of government, institution, and technology has to be brought in. So the concept of triple P, public-private partnership, and the technological perspective has to be combined together. So if you see the remarkable advances that we have attained in the earth system science and the civil research, along with enabling technology of remote sensing and GIS, geographic information system, all these guys, believe me, we have been able to do this, and it has helped to document and explain what is the impact of this human activity at the ground level and what you should do in order to eradicate it. So such kind of collaborative effort should be taken into consideration. That is another way forward, because this will also provide this kind of effort, now this collaborative effort of the government, institution, technology. It will also enable them to provide a grid insight into how to solve or mitigate these impacts and improve life. These are all very, very important. So the concerned government can have a proper planning approach. They can adopt the decentralized approach. They can plan for the various institutional arrangements. They can take steps to enable political decisions to effectively address the environmental stress. So we are able to attain the goal of sustainable development, incorporating economic, social, and environmental factors hand in hand. Clear? And there are so many recommendations also put forward by the Human Development Report, guys. They said that the report outlines 3 mechanisms for collective change, social norms and value. That's true. See, as the world is seeking to expand agency and empowerment through human development, they also must establish some rules and regulations and norms and those should give a lot of weightage to planetary balance sustainability, guys. To planetary balance and sustainability, it has to be taken into considerations. Clear? Then the incentive and regulations, because these are something which can be used to promote or deter action. So now you are able to bridge the value gap between the behaviors and value. That is also another important point to be noted. And the third important recommendations, which is outlined in the HDR report of 2020, is to bring some collective changes, nature-based solutions. That is, we all know that the interdependence of earth system process, including social process and the relationships, they are non-linear dialectic. You have to really bring them in a single track. So now therefore the central challenge or problem is to nest human development. And if you really want to have human development, you've got to really include social, economic and environmental factors hand in hand. Otherwise you cannot think of what a systematic approach. You understand? So now these are the three important mechanisms to be understood. Clear? So thus, what did you understand? The conclusion for this particular topic, that is your human development synchronization of the planetary pressures SDI, is it is very well understandable that the interdependence, once again I'm repeating the same thing guys, of the earth system process, including social process and the relationships, they are non-linear and dialectic, so you cannot even play with them. So it's very, very important that we are incorporating all these three things together, because that will help the government, all the institutions, and even the technological development perspective to go hand in hand. Because what we need today is not just development, but we need something called a sustainable development, which requires economic indicators, social indicators, plus incorporating them with the environmental factors. Otherwise, there is no point at all. Clear? But there are difficulties writing the same as a whole. But we, as a responsible citizen, each one of us, starting from your home, okay, you need to make sure that when you're a student in a school, for a school student to a college student to working professionals, be it anybody. From there, if you have a habit of conservation attitude towards the environment, automatically development process can take place like that. Clear? This is very important, guys. This is not just in the hands of government. Rather, we the people as who are the citizens of this country as a whole. Did you understand? So this is the whole point, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this lecture. So thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to like the video and put your valuable feedbacks in the comment box. Very important. And stay tuned, guys. Tomorrow being Republic Day, you have interesting topics out there. Early morning 6 a.m. you'll have at least 2-hour class. It's based on a very interesting topic. Followed by the special series at 9 to 10, 9 a.m. 10 a.m. just a single series. And then you have the marathons in the Unacademy free class platform. Clear? So yes, now you tell me, planetary HDI, is it a novel approach to India's progress? Yes or no? The choice is yours. Express your viewpoints quickly. Yes? Yes or no, my young officers? Because you got to express them. It is. What do you personally feel if we talk about India when we are lagging? I'm not sure in governance only and awareness stuff. See, as I told you, it's not just governance, or let's say it's not just the policies. This is a very sensitive topic. Now, to pollute your own kitchen, to pollute your own home backyard, it is in your hand. So when every one of us do the same thing, it becomes collectively polluting of the entire place, then the entire environment. You understand? So now this is something to start from the basic, guys. See, as a realistic individual, in a very analytical and practical perspective, it is also inside every single citizen of this country, India, to be responsible. That is why I told you, norms, rules, regulations has also been put forward, very strict ones. So you may ask me that, ma'am, already we have the Environment Protection Act and stuff like that. That is there. It is just an act. You make it more strict and stringent and screw it up more tightly. So this cannot be the case. You got the point. So now, yes, Wolfish, we need more attention towards it. No doubt in that. So now how we can do that? See, telling we need more attention, we need more, that doesn't make a sense. What to do is the next thing. You tighten those things now with the rules and regulations and norms. And now, if you are going to make the planetary HDI role approach, now taking into consideration the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and the other environmental hazards and impacts what we are facing, especially in the context of carbon dioxide emissions and other stuff. Very important, that's very strict rules and regulations with regard to Clean India mission, with regard to Swachh Bharat missions, all these things are tightened up. And the schools and college compulsory for the students. Even putting a paper on the road, or let's say putting a paper or a chocolate cover on your own surrounding, even if there are people to clean for you, that consider it as to be an act of harm. Consider it as to be an act of illogical stuff where you're not supposed to do that. So train them from the scratch. So what happens? They will dispose it in the concerned places, and the factor called polluting the environment or polluting the outside place doesn't happen. You understand? So these kind of awareness has to be there right from your childhood, and we got to inculcate them, especially the school children, the college students, and every other individual. So automatically from a small age, you're practicing this. So it doesn't become that difficult for you to accept when such kind of things come up. You understand? I'm talking about the environmental perspective. Now, to talk about the human development, incorporating the human development index, that is social and economic factors, the ecosystem environment is very important. Then only you can have the planetary pressure adjusted HDI, guys. And that's very important. No doubt in that, because the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, the twin problem of poverty alleviation, because we need to alleviate or eradicate poverty only through development perspective. And if development has to happen, then environment has to be, environment has to be taken into consideration. Where you're kind of polluting, or let's say you're destroying the environment. But that cannot be the case. When you cut off a tree, when you kind of clear the forest land or animals the land for the development perspective there, to give better employment opportunities to people to end the poverty, you do it in eco-friendly way. I know funding is required for that. Let the government arrange funding for that. Let them put it forward in such a way that it is an eco-friendly way. It cannot be in any way, in any other way around. Anyway, we are having too much of debt. So let them increase more. You will find ways to solve it. But actually, this issue is causing a lot of trouble, guys, for the growth and development of our country. Let me tell you that. It's really, really causing a lot of issues. So these kind of things have to be addressed at the earliest. Clear? So yes, don't you think so? Now, this is a novel approach to India's progress, provided we are able to take them and address such kind of challenges involved in the so-called PHDI in the right manner. Otherwise, there is no point. Okay, let me tell you that also. So this has to be addressed in the exact proper manner. Clear? Perfect. So did you like this topic? By the way, I wanted to ask you that as well. Sounds interesting, है ना? कभी कभी. Yes, it is. So chalo, thank you so much, my young officers. Thank you so much. I'll see you all soon for the 6 p.m. class today. The UPSC level MCQs for Prelims 2022 with a 360-degree coverage. Guys, download the app. The link is pinned up in the chat box as well. So you can just use the code Nisha is live and enroll for the very same lecture in the Unacademy app. Clear? And tomorrow we have so many sessions, already a few sessions. Once again, the announcement will be made in the 6 p.m. class. I'll see you all soon. Yes, Wolfish, what is it? I would love to see it getting viral like your that raising marriages. Yeah, almost all the videos are, I think, in this YouTube. I am one of the top educators in Unacademy Articulate YouTube, because we are getting a lot of good responses for the early morning 6 a.m. class, multiple topics, very good response, and especially with marriages video went viral, that is there. Yeah, every single topic it is having a good reach among the students. Again, once again, I thank all my learners for believing me. No matter if I take late night or early morning, my learners are always having a lot of confidence in me. So they actually, even if you cannot attend the live class also, I have noticed that people don't even miss the recording. They even go and they even watch it. So that kind of confidence that, okay, whatever Nisha ma'am is saying will be something valuable, not just from the textual perspective or the text perspective. Rather, it will make us think. It will be from a debatable or a controversial perspective, to make us analyze, to make us think, to make us more creative towards that particular topic. So that kind of feedback makes me feel quite happy as well, because this is not just learning or mugging up. This is something which has to do with what you actually is into. It makes you as an upcoming UPSC aspirant, or let's say as an upcoming bureaucrat, and also to every other whoever is watching such kind of topics, you're updating your current affairs knowledge in different dimensions. It's not just studying what is the problem, what is the background alone. Rather, the pros and cons and the way we take it forward. How it is kind of brainstorming our brains with regard to every single topic. That is what we should actually do, guys. Not only for my subject, be it any subjects. Since it is current affairs, every single subject comes here. It's not just economics, rather every single subject, your science and tech, your governance, your polity, your environment, and such like that. So you got to really understand every single dimensions in a different manner. See, the way you conceive things and the way you interrupt things shows the kind of person you are in understanding situations, and you will be able to decide by your own whether you are an efficient person in giving a good solution to whatever problem that is coming forward. So these kind of things you'll be able to understand, guys. It depends upon the way you analyze and understand one particular topic as a whole. Anyways, chalo. Yes, Wilfish, have a good day. I'm going to college and teach your kiddos. Have a good one. Yeah, I will see you at 6 p.m. What's you are Deepesh, right? Ah, I didn't get your name. Okay, when you said Malali madam, you're the only one to call you Malali madam there. Okay, okay. Chalo, I remember. Again, I'll call you Deepesh. Don't worry. Chalo, see you all. I'll meet you at 6 p.m. today, my officers. Till then, bye-bye. Take care. And once again, I hope the links of my 6 p.m. is circulated. If it is not circulated in the WhatsApp and Telegram and other platform, please let me know. I will put it immediately so you don't miss it out. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Take care and Jai Hind.